The skies above New Alexandria buzzed with the usual traffic of hover cars and delivery drones. Kira Novak, chief of planetary defense, sipped her synthetic coffee and stared at the holographic display dominating her office. Something was off. "Computer, run diagnostic Alpha 9 on all orbital sensors," she commanded, her voice steady despite the unease crawling up her spine. "Diagnostic complete. All systems functioning within normal parameters." The AI responded in its maddeningly calm tone. Kira slammed her mug down, ignoring the scalding liquid that splashed onto her hand. "Then why do I feel like we're being watched?" As if in answer, her comm link chimed. "Chief Novak, we've got anomalous readings from the Kuiper Belt. You need to see this." Within minutes, Kira stood in the heart of the Planetary Defense Center, surrounded by the best minds Earth had to offer. Dr. Zain Khalil, the wiry astrophysicist with perpetually disheveled hair, manipulated the 3D star map with frantic gestures. "There! Do you see it?" he asked, his voice tinged with a mix of excitement and dread. Kira squinted at the hologram. Amidst the familiar dance of comets and asteroids, tiny distortions rippled through space. "What am I looking at, Zain?" "Cloaking technology," he whispered. "Advanced beyond anything we've ever encountered. If I hadn't been calibrating the new quantum sensors..." The implications hit Kira like a plasma bolt. "How many?" she demanded. Zane's face paled. "Hundreds. Maybe thousands." The room erupted into chaos. Voices shouted over each other, fear and disbelief battling for dominance. Kira felt the weight of 8 billion lives settle onto her shoulders. "Enough," she roared, silencing the panic. "We are the Planetary Defense Force. It's time we lived up to that name. Zain, I want every scrap of data on those ships. Propulsion, weapons, vulnerabilities, anything you can give me. Lieutenant Raxon, alert the United Earth Council. But keep this quiet. The last thing we need is global panic." As her team sprang into action, Kira turned back to the star map. The enemy was out there, invisible, waiting. But for what? Months passed in a haze of frantic preparation. The shipyards of Mars worked overtime, churning out stealth satellites and experimental weapon platforms. On Earth, military recruitment soared under the guise of planetary infrastructure initiatives. Through it all, the aliens watched. Silent. Patient. It was a balmy Tuesday in June when they finally made their move. Kira was in the middle of a budget meeting when every screen in the room suddenly flickered to life. The face that appeared was almost human. Smooth, grayish skin. Large, dark eyes that seemed to shimmer with an inner light. When it spoke, its voice resonated with an otherworldly harmony. "People of Earth," the being said, its tone gentle yet utterly alien. "We are the Luminarii. For centuries, we have watched your species grow, struggle, and reach for the stars. We come now not as conquerors, but as saviors." Kira's blood ran cold. This was it, the moment that would define humanity's future. "Your world teeters on the brink of ecological collapse," the Luminarii continued. "Your societies fracture under the weight of inequality and mistrust. We offer you a gift beyond price, the chance to join us among the stars, to leave behind your troubled world and embrace a future of harmony and endless discovery." The alien's eyes seemed to bore into Kira's soul. "We have the technology to transport your entire population to worlds more suited to your needs. Pristine planets where you can begin anew, free from the mistakes of the past. All we ask in return is stewardship of Earth, to heal its wounds and preserve its unique biosphere." The transmission ended, leaving the room in stunned silence. Kira's mind raced. It sounded reasonable, almost too good to be true, which meant it absolutely was. "Give me the president," she barked, "and someone find out how the hell they breached our communications network." As the world erupted into chaos, debates raging in every corner of the globe, Kira retreated to her private office. She pulled up classified files, ancient historical records that few had access to. Her eyes widened as she read. "Oh God," she whispered. "We've seen this before. The Roanoke colony. The disappearance of the Mayans. Entire civilizations vanishing without a trace throughout history. What if What if they hadn't disappeared at all? Kira's hands shook as she placed a call to the one person who might have answers. Professor Hiroaki? It's Novak. I need everything you have on the Hollow Earth theory. And I mean everything. As she hung up, Kira gazed out at the New Alexandria skyline. The Luminarii's offer echoed in her mind. A new home among the stars? Or a trapped millennia in the making? One thing was certain, humanity's greatest test was just beginning. And Kira Novak would be damned if she'd let her species walk blindly into extinction. Part 2. Unveiling the Deception. The catacombs beneath New Alexandria stretched for miles, a labyrinth of ancient stone and modern tech. Kira Novak's footsteps echoed off the damp walls as she followed Professor Hiroaki deeper into the earth. Are you sure about this? She hissed, her hand never straying far from her sidearm. The old man's chuckle held no humor. My dear, after what I'm about to show you, certainty will become a luxury you can no longer afford. They reached a heavy vault door, its surface etched with symbols Kira didn't recognize. Hiroaki placed his palm against it, murmuring words in a language long dead. With a groan of protesting metal, the door swung open. Welcome, Hiroaki said, to humanity's true history. The chamber beyond was filled with artifacts that shouldn't exist. Tablets describing advanced mathematics from millennia before Pythagoras. A model of the solar system that predated Copernicus by thousands of years. And dominating it all, a massive stone monolith covered in pictographs. The warning stone, Hiroaki explained, his voice reverent. Left by the survivors of the last evacuation. Kira's mind reeled. You mean? Yes. The Luminarii have come before. Many, many times. As Hiroaki translated the ancient text, Kira felt her world crumbling around her. The Luminarii were not saviors, but harvesters. They didn't transport populations to paradise worlds. They consumed them. Entire civilizations, reduced to mere batteries for the Luminarii's vast, unknowable machines. We have to warn everyone, Kira exclaimed, already reaching for her calm. Hiroaki's hand shot out, gripping her wrist with surprising strength. And who would believe us? With nothing but prehistoric chicken scratch as proof. He shook his head sadly. The Luminarii have been playing this game for eons. They've accounted for every scenario, except one. Kira's eyes narrowed. What do you mean? A sly smile crept across the old professor's face. Tell me, Chief Novak, how much do you know about quantum entanglement? Over the next weeks, as the world debated the Luminarii's offer, a select group worked in secret. Kira assembled a team of Earth's brightest minds, physicists, engineers, and tactical experts. Their mission, to turn a theoretical weapon into humanity's last hope. Dr. Aditi Chowdhury, a prodigy in quantum mechanics, explained the concept. We're calling it the Boomerang Protocol. When the Luminarii activate their transportation tech, we hijack it. Instead of moving us, we move them. To where? Kira asked, her mind spinning with possibilities. Aditi's grin was downright predatory. Oh, somewhere nice and cozy. How does the core of Jupiter sound? But time was running out. The Luminarii grew impatient, their once gentle messages taking on an edge of menace. Reports flooded in of people vanishing, those who had spoken out against the alien offer. Kira stood before the United Earth Council, desperation clawing at her throat. We cannot trust them. Every shred of evidence points to Dash. Evidence, a councilman scoffed. Fairy tales and conspiracy theories. The Luminarii offer us salvation, and you would doom us based on ghost stories? The vote was cast. Humanity would accept the Luminarii's gift. As Kira left the chamber, a hand grabbed her arm. She whirled, ready to fight, only to find herself face to face with Councilwoman Yara Mbeki. I believe you, Yara whispered. What do you need? Hope flared in Kira's chest. Time, and access to every quantum computer on the planet. The day of ascension arrived. Billions huddled in homes and gathering places, awaiting their journey to the stars. In a bunker deep beneath the Earth's surface, Kira and her team worked feverishly. Energy signatures are spiking, Dr. Chowdhury shouted. They're powering up their transport arrays. Kira's hand hovered over the activation switch. The fate of her entire species rested on this moment. She thought of all those who had fallen victim to the Luminarii's lies throughout history, of the civilizations erased, the lives stolen. "Not this time, you bastards," she growled. She flipped the switch. The world lurched. Reality itself seemed to twist and buckle. For one terrifying moment, Kira thought they had failed. Then the sensors exploded with data. "It's working!" Aditi screamed, tears streaming down her face. The Luminarii ships. They're being pulled into Jupiter's gravity well? On screens around the bunker, they watched as the once cloaked armada suddenly blazed into view. Thousands of ships caught in an inescapable trap of humanity's making. The alien vessels burned like newborn stars as they plummeted into the gas giant's crushing embrace. As the last Luminarii ship vanished from sensors, a deathly silence fell over the bunker. Then slowly, it built, first a chuckle, then a laugh, until the entire team was howling in triumph and relief. Kira leaned against a console, her legs barely supporting her. They had done it. Humanity had faced extinction and emerged victorious. But as the adrenaline faded, a cold realization settled in her gut. The Luminarii were doubtlessly not the only threat lurking in the dark between stars. Humanity would need to be ready. She straightened, her voice ringing with newfound purpose. "Give me the council. It's time humanity took its place among the stars, on our terms." As klaxons blared and her team scrambled to connect her with world leaders, Kira allowed herself a small, fierce smile. The Luminarii had wanted Earth? Well, they'd gotten a one-way ticket home instead, and the universe would never be the same. The years following the Luminarii incident saw humanity undergo a transformation unlike any in its history. The near brush with extinction had awakened a fierce determination in the species. No longer would Earth be a vulnerable blue marble, ripe for the picking. Kira Novak stood on the observation deck of Olympus Station, Earth's first true deep space military outpost. The red planet of Mars hung below, its surface dotted with gleaming domes and sprawling industrial complexes. "Impressive, isn't it?" a gruff voice said behind her. Kira turned to see Admiral Janus Frost, his weathered face a map of the challenges they'd faced. "Sometimes I still can't believe how far we've come," she admitted. Frost nodded. "From nearly being cattle to launching our first extrasolar expedition. Who would have thought?" Their conversation was interrupted by a priority alert. "Admiral, Chief Novak, you're needed in the war room. Now." The mood in the war room was tense. Holographic displays showed a section of space at the edge of the Oort cloud. At the center of everyone's attention was a pulsing red dot. Dr. Zain Khalil, now sporting a few more gray hairs, manipulated the display. "We detected it an hour ago. Whatever it is, it's big, and it's headed straight for us." Kira felt her stomach drop. "The Luminarii?" Zain shook his head. "Different energy signature. This is something new." Admiral Frost's voice cut through the murmurs of concern. "What are our options?" A young tactical officer, Lieutenant Amara Okafor, stepped forward. "Sir, I recommend we deploy the Cerberus Defense Network. If we can't stop them out there, we at least buy Earth time to prepare." Frost nodded grimly. "Do it." Alarms blared throughout the station as humanity's first line of defense sprang into action. Massive rail guns swiveled into position. Swarms of autonomous drones moved to intercept. And deep within shielded hangars, pilots scrambled to their fighters. Kira watched the approaching anomaly with a mixture of dread and anticipation. Part of her had always known this day would come. Humanity's victory against the Luminarii couldn't go unanswered forever. As the unknown vessel entered the outer reaches of the solar system, it suddenly split apart. What they had thought was a single massive ship was in fact a swarm of smaller craft. Evasive maneuvers. Frost roared as the first wave of alien fighters screamed towards the station. The battle that followed was chaos incarnate. Human ingenuity clashed against alien technology in a furious dance of destruction. Railgun slugs tore through void black holes. Pulse lasers reduced fighters on both sides to superheated vapor. In the midst of it all, Kira found herself in a commandeered shuttle, racing towards Earth. Their defense had been breached. Someone had to warn the homeworld. As her craft dodged debris and weapons fire, Kira's mind raced. Who were these new invaders? What did they want? The comm channels were a cacophony of shouted orders and screams cut short. Suddenly, a massive explosion rocked her shuttle. Alarms blared as systems failed. Kira fought with the controls, trying to stabilize her descent towards Earth's atmosphere. The last thing she saw before losing consciousness was the blue marble of home, growing larger by the second. She awoke to the sound of waves lapping against the shore. Kira's eyes fluttered open, squinting against the harsh sunlight. She was on a beach? "Welcome back to the land of the living, Chief Novak," a familiar voice said. Kira turned to see Dr. Aditi Chowdhury, looking considerably worse for wear, but very much alive. "Aditi? What? Where are we?" The quantum physicist helped Kira to her feet. "Hawaii, or what's left of it. Your shuttle crashed into the Pacific. Local defense forces fished you out." As Kira's vision cleared, she saw the devastation around her. The once pristine beach was littered with debris, both human and alien. In the distance, pillars of smoke rose from Honolulu. "What happened?" Kira demanded. Aditi's face was grim. "We lost Olympus Station. The Ort defense line is in shambles. But," and here a fierce pride entered her voice, "we hurt them, Kira. We hurt them bad." A military transport rumbled up to them. A soldier, his uniform scorched and torn, saluted. "Chief Novak, Dr. Chowdhury, you're needed at Pearl Harbor Command. We're mounting a counteroffensive." As they climbed into the transport, Kira's mind whirled with possibilities. A counteroffensive? With what? Aditi's grin was downright feral. "Oh, you're going to love this. Remember our little quantum entanglement trick? Well, we've been busy while you were overseeing the space station." The renamed Pearl Harbor Command Center was a hive of activity. Kira was quickly ushered into a secure briefing room. There, displayed on a holographic projector, was something that made her breath catch. "Is that?" she began. "Operation Longbow," Admiral Frost's voice boomed. The old man looked like he'd been through hell, but his eyes burned with determination. "While you were up in orbit playing Guardians, we were building humanity's vengeance." The hologram showed a massive ship, unlike anything Kira had ever seen. It bristled with weapons, but at its core was something familiar, the quantum drive that had sent the Luminary Eye to their doom. But this time, Aditi explained, practically bouncing with excitement, "We're not just sending them away. We're going to follow them home." Kira's eyes widened as she understood the implications. "You mean?" Frost nodded. "That's right, Novak. We're taking the fight to them. These bastards thought they could waltz in and take our planet? Well, they're about to learn what happens when you piss off humanity." As alarms blared and personnel rushed to battle stations, Kira felt a surge of fierce pride. Yes, Earth had been bloodied. Yes, they had suffered losses. But humanity wasn't beaten. Not by a long shot. She turned to Admiral Frost, her voice steady. "What are your orders, sir?" The old man's grin was wolfish. "Suit up, Chief Novak. We're going alien hunting." As Kira raced to prepare for the coming battle, she couldn't help but feel a thrill of anticipation. The invaders had made a grave mistake. They had assumed Earth would be an easy target, a primitive world ripe for conquest. They were about to learn just how wrong they were. Operation Longbow was powering up. Humanity's counteroffensive was about to begin. And Kira Novak would be damned if she'd miss her chance to show the galaxy just what humans were capable of when pushed too far. The aliens wanted a war? Well, they were about to get one delivered straight to their front door, with humanity's compliments. The void between stars erupted in a dazzling display of quantum energy as Operation Longbow tore through the fabric of space-time. At the helm of humanity's vengeance stood Kira Novak, her eyes fixed on the swirling maelstrom ahead. Emergence in T-minus 10 seconds. The ship's AI announced, its voice unnervingly calm. Kira's grip tightened on the command console. "All hands brace for transition." The ship lurched, reality twisting around them like a funhouse mirror. For a heart-stopping moment, Kira feared they'd miscalculated, that they'd be torn apart by cosmic forces beyond comprehension. Then, with a final gut-wrenching twist, they burst into alien space. Status report. Kira barked, fighting down a wave of nausea. Shields at 89% and holding. Lieutenant Okafor responded, her fingers dancing across holographic displays. Weapon systems online. We've got multiple contacts on long-range sensors. As Kira's vision cleared, she saw it. A massive space station, easily dwarfing anything humanity had ever built. Surrounding it was a swarm of ships, some clearly of the same design as those that had attacked Earth. By all that's holy, Admiral Frost whispered, his gruff voice tinged with awe. It's a staging ground. Realization dawned. This wasn't just the aliens' homeworld. It was the launching point for their entire invasion fleet. New contacts, Okafor shouted. They've detected us. Kira's mind raced. They were outnumbered, outgunned, and in enemy territory. But they had the element of surprise and the desperation of a species fighting for survival. Execute Plan Thunderbolt, she ordered, her voice steady despite the fear clawing at her gut. The Longbow's quantum core hummed to life, channeling mind-boggling amounts of energy. But instead of jumping away, it focused that power into the ship's primary weapon. A lance of pure, concentrated quantum energy erupted from the Longbow's bow. It struck the alien station with the force of a miniature sun going supernova. The results were spectacular. The station's shields held for a fraction of a second before collapsing. Then, like a balloon pricked by a needle, the entire structure imploded. The quantum beam had disrupted the very atomic bonds holding it together. In the shocked silence that followed, Kira allowed herself a grim smile. I'd say we've got their attention. What followed was a battle unlike any in human history. The longbow danced through enemy formations, its advanced maneuverability belying its massive size. Quantum-tipped torpedoes reduced capital ships to expanding clouds of debris. Point defense lasers swept alien fighters from the sky like so many annoying insects. But the enemy's numbers were overwhelming. For every ship they destroyed, 3 more seemed to take its place. Shields at 40%. Okafor reported, her voice strained. We can't take much more of this. They'd hurt the aliens, yes, but at what cost? Had she led humanity's last hope into a glorious, but ultimately futile, last stand? Suddenly, Dr. Chowdhury's voice cut through the chaos. I've got it, Chief. Remember how we tricked the luminary eye? Understanding dawned. You want to pull the same trick? Send them all to Jupiter. Aditi's laugh was borderline maniacal. Oh no, my friend. I've got something much better in mind. As Aditi explained her plan, Kira felt a mix of hope and horror. It was audacious, borderline insane, and quite possibly their only chance of survival. Do it, she ordered. The longbow disengaged from the battle, taking hit after hit as it maneuvered into position. Kira watched the shield readouts drop precipitously. 15%, 10%, 5%. Now! Aditi screamed. The quantum core pulsed, sending out a wave of energy that engulfed the entire alien fleet. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, ship after ship began to vanish. It's working, Aditi hooped. We're sending them all back in time. Millions of years, to be precise. Let's see how they like Earth during the Cretaceous period. Kira watched in awe as the alien armada disappeared, sent eons into the past. The implications were staggering. Had Earth's dinosaurs been wiped out not by an asteroid, but by the very invasion force they'd just faced? As the last enemy ship winked out of existence, a stunned silence fell over the Longbow's bridge. Admiral Frost was the first to break it. Well, I'll be damned. We did it. Cheers erupted throughout the ship. They had faced annihilation and emerged victorious. Humanity had not only survived, but had rewritten history itself. As the celebration raged around her, Kira felt a weight lift from her shoulders. They had done it. Earth was safe. But as she gazed out at the alien star system, now bereft of its invasion fleet, a new thought occurred to her. They had the coordinates for the aliens' homeworld. They had a ship capable of interstellar travel. The galaxy lay open before them. Kira turned to Admiral Frost, a fierce light in her eyes. "Sir, request permission to begin scouting operations of alien territory." Frost's eyebrow raised. "Scouting? What exactly did you have in mind, Chief Novak?" Kira's grin was positively predatory. "Well, Admiral, it seems to me that Earth could use some Lebensraum." As understanding dawned on the faces around her, Kira felt a surge of pride. The aliens had sought to conquer Earth, to make humanity just another footnote in their grand cosmic empire. Instead, they had awakened a sleeping giant. Humanity would no longer cower in fear of the dark between stars. No, they would stride out into that darkness, carving their own empire among the heavens. The alien exodus was complete, and in its wake, a new power was rising. Humanity's era of cosmic expansion had begun. The quantum engines of the longbow hummed softly as the ship drifted in high orbit around a blue-green world. From the observation deck, Kira Novak gazed down at the alien planet, lost in thought. "Penny for your thoughts, Chief." Admiral Frost's gravelly voice broke the silence. Kira turned a wry smile on her face. "Just thinking about how far we've come, sir. 5 years ago, we were fighting for our very existence. And now we're exploring the stars," Frost finished, his eyes twinkling. "Who'd have thought?" The past half-decade had seen humanity undergo a transformation that would have been unthinkable before the alien invasion. With the secrets of quantum propulsion unlocked and a vast alien database at their fingertips, Earth had exploded onto the galactic stage. Colony ships now stretched across dozens of star systems. The Longbow, once humanity's sole defender, was now the flagship of an ever-growing fleet of exploration and defense vessels. "Any word from the diplomatic team?" Kira asked, nodding towards the planet below. Frost chuckled. "Oh, they're having a field day down there. Seems the Zethkar are quite interested in an alliance. Apparently, our reputation precedes us." Kira couldn't help but smile at that. Humanity's victory over the invading force, now known as the Swarm, had sent shockwaves throughout the galaxy. Many alien species, long oppressed by the Swarm's expansion, saw Earth as a potential protector. "You know," Frost mused, "sometimes I wonder if we did the right thing. Taking the fight to them, expanding so rapidly." Kira understood his concern. The decision to utilize the alien worlds they claimed had been controversial. Some argued it made humanity no better than the Swarm they defeated. "We're not conquerors, sir," Kira said firmly. "We're offering protection, sharing technology. Hell, half our colonies are joint ventures with species who asked us to settle their worlds." Frost nodded, but his expression remained troubled. "And what happens when we meet someone who doesn't want our protection? Someone who sees us as the threat?" Before Kira could respond, alarms blared throughout the ship. Lieutenant Okafor's voice crackled over the comms. "Chief, Admiral, you need to see this." They raced to the bridge, where a holographic display showed a section of space near the galactic core. A massive anomaly was forming, twisting space itself into knots. "What the hell is that?" Frost demanded. Dr. Chowdhury, her hair wild and eyes wide with excitement, looked up from her console. "It's a quantum rupture, sir. Bigger than anything we've ever seen. And there's something coming through." As they watched, a ship emerged from the swirling vortex. No, not a ship, a fleet. Vessels of every conceivable shape and size poured forth, their designs alien and yet hauntingly familiar. "Oh my God," Kira whispered, realization dawning. "It's them." The Swarm had returned. Not the force they'd banished to the distant past, but their future selves. Evolved, advanced, and undoubtedly out for revenge. As the enormity of the situation sank in, Kira felt a strange calm settle over her. This was it, the moment that would define not just humanity, but the entire galaxy. "Orders, sir?" she asked, turning to Admiral Frost. The old man's face was set in grim determination. "Recall all diplomatic teams. Send out the alert to every colony and allied world. and get me a direct line to Earth. As the bridge erupted into frenzied activity, Kira allowed herself one last look at the peaceful world below. In a matter of hours, this tranquil scene would be shattered. The galaxy itself would become a battlefield. But this time, humanity wouldn't stand alone. Kira's voice rang out, clear and strong. All hands, battle stations. This is not a drill. I repeat, this is not a drill. As the Longbow's quantum core spooled up, preparing for the fight of their lives, Kira felt a fierce pride swell in her chest. The swarm thought they were coming back to easy conquest, to weak and scattered prey. Instead, they would find a galaxy united. Dozens of species, once content to cower in the shadows, now stood shoulder to shoulder with humanity, each bringing their own unique strengths, technologies, and burning desire for freedom. The swarm had returned, yes, but they were about to learn a harsh lesson. The galaxy was no longer their hunting ground. It was humanity's home, and by God, they would defend it. As the first shots of the war that would define an era rang out, Kira Novak stood tall on the bridge of humanity's flagship. Win or lose, their actions here would echo through eternity. Let the swarm come. Humanity was ready. And this time, they were the hunters.